Whoa! 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 Holy shit!
It's rated S for sandwich.
I have played this game upwards of 700 times. I have beat the game once, and I didn't even do it from the beginning of the game. I didn't even play the full entire experience. I did it just to film a video. Okay, that's ridiculous to some of you. To some of you, that seems extraneous. How would you play a game so many times and lose so many times and keep playing? Well, adventure is why, my friends. Adventure is why I have played this game so many motherfucking times.
Adventure. There's really nothing quite like it. Looking for treasure, fighting bats and snakes, stealing things from shopkeepers, being swallowed by worms, you know, adventure. And what does adventure better than video games? Well, other than Bear Grylls, or you know, real adventure, or reading, nothing. Video games do adventure. Some adventures are short, some are long, but the best ones just never end. Short of suspending yourself outside of the space-time continuum, video games are your best option for endless adventure.
Now everybody plays games. You got businessmen, you got not businessmen, you got people going to school, you got 5-year-olds, you got 80-year-olds, you got men, you got women, sometimes you got dogs, and everybody has different sort of needs that they need satisfied by games. Of course, it makes sense, and they also need different things satisfied in their love lives. It's the same issue, really. It's the exact same thing. You need something that lasts. You need something that you can do over and over again without it getting old.
No matter what sort of person, everyone wants to get the absolute most out of each game they play, much like they do with shakes. There are several ways in which games exhibit replayability, but today we'll be looking at randomization. We're not talking about shuffled deck random or bullet spread random, we're talking about intelligent random. We're talking about roguelikes.
Roguelikes who? Wolverine? Yeah, I know. Who cares? Oh, don't give me that shit.
Roguelikes are so named because the game Rogue, released millions of years ago, established the concept of creating a tabula rasa gameplay experience after death. Upon restarting the game, all the player took with them was game knowledge. Game knowledge and a deep sense of sadness. While the mechanics have grown over the years with games like Chocobo's Dungeon, a game I feel truly incorporated the mechanics into a bigger picture is Spelunky. Spelunky, developed as a solo project by Derek Yu aka Mossmouth, first appeared as a freeware PC game in December of 2008. After years of steadily growing notoriety amongst the PC gaming community, the announcement came that Spelunky would transition to XBLA. While the two versions are mostly the same, the latter is bigger and prettier, has different secrets and more stuff and all kinds of you know what, we're just gonna talk about that one. The other one's great, it's fantastic, but that's not what we're gonna be focusing on today. Spelunky, like all roguelikes, has a pseudo-randomized level generation mechanic. Every time you play, the levels will be different, but each level will be comprised of hundreds upon hundreds of small, recognizable bits which the engine tosses around like a salad. Except not a salad. Something more delicious. Maybe like a bag of Halloween candy. Yeah, that's delicious. I love Halloween candy. These bits are smartly designed and connect to the other bits in a logical fashion. There's tons of enemies and traps in the game, all of whose girlfriends and boyfriends you've slept with. So of course they hate your guts and will do everything in their power to end your pathetic body whoring life. Upon successfully removing you from this world, you get to start all over at the beginning, ready to have your liver eaten yet again.
Get it? It's Prometheus' joke. Cause you know how the bird eats his liver? Read a book sometime. Yeah.
Unlike Prometheus, however, rather than eternal suffering, each death in Spelunky is a lesson learned about the game's mechanics. That or it's hilarious.
Whoa, shit! Okay. Apparently, those angry-looking Aztec block things shoot arrows at me. So we're gonna be avoiding those next time. Ha! Take that, game! I've outwitted you, you foolish fool!
You see, in most games, especially adventure games, death is the ultimate failure, and all game elements are thus perceived as either methods for avoiding death or encountering it. This means most games do their best to shelter you from the danger until you feel you should know how to deal with it. Spelunky instead uses death as a mechanic for learning itself. Every time you die, it's a unique lesson you can add to your perception of danger. Most enemies and traps only have one or two behaviors, but they're all highly interactive and can trigger chain reactions, so the game can't possibly prepare you for everything. Instead, it allows you to learn it all on your own. Natural curiosity drives you forward and often kills you, and it teaches you what you can and can't get away with.
You know, I think I'm pretty open-minded. I like to do a little bit of this, I like to do a little bit of that. But dying, that doesn't seem like the most productive use of my time.
It's completely strange to be okay with dying because most adventure games are not designed for you to die. Thus, every death in those games is admittedly wasted time. These games, some of which have dungeons which last multiple hours, suck you in with exploration, several quests or objectives, or quirky characters, or giant moons with faces on them, and lots of bits and pieces to find throughout one, often long, playthrough. On the contrary, a full run of Spelunky can take as long as an hour or as little as 5 minutes.
Okay, let me get this straight. I die a lot, and the game is short? What, does this game also cause my Xbox to vomit lava on my pets and violate me in my sleep?
The meat of this sandwich lies in the replayability. Totally a real world, you can look it up, just don't be surprised if it's not real at all. Minigames are replayable because, well, they're good, or you're broke, and sometimes they have lots of different characters or multiplayer, but Spelunky is designed to be played ad infinitum. That's some Latin for you. That means forever in Latin. Since the levels change every time, there's no such thing as memorizing a particular piece of the game, only ways to deal with those pieces.
Well, this sure is a platforming game. There's spikes everywhere, or at least in some places. Oh, down there maybe? Let me see if I look. Okay, yes, spikes, like I said. Good thing I checked. You know, that golden idol looks a lot like a certain movie. I don't know what it was called, but you had a hat, and you were a history professor, and you had a whip, and it looks a lot like this game actually, except with more dimensions. I think there was 3 of them. But I'm just gonna go ahead and take that thing anyways, because I want stuff.
Oh yeah, so treasure's also kind of a big deal. There's really no narrative to the game, you're just a greedy son of a bitch trying to get all the treasure you can carry in your infinitely deep pockets. Gotta love that bag of holding. Treasure will be scattered throughout every level, sometimes in plain sight, sometimes buried behind walls, sometimes buried in walls. There's all sorts of treasure to be found, really.
Oh yeah, stuff. And that's what I'm talking about. What can I do with all this stuff that I can get? Can I eat it? Do I cook it? Do I eat it? Do I eat it?
Gold translates to score, and while the game is so full of ways to get yourself killed, often the goal will simply be beating the game. Getting a high score is an auxiliary goal that can be ridiculously risky to pursue. But also, it's pretty alluring. I mean, look at that. That's money. There's money over there. That crazy ass guy right there, he's guarding like, probably, I don't know, maybe 20,000 worth of gold in points. I mean, you want that. I want that. I'm gonna go get it right now. The constant risk assessment of, do I need that money? Can I get that money safely? Is my nose infected? Drives the gameplay and tricks you into killing yourself when you could just waltz on by. Score isn't the only thing driving you towards money though. Money can also be used to purchase things from shopkeepers strewn throughout the levels. These shopkeepers sell equipment, weapons, supplies, people, as well as intimate companionship. Some equipment, like the jetpack and the freeze ray, are ridiculously useful, but bro, they ain't cheap. You're gonna have to sell all kinds of kidneys and people to get that shit.
So I'm driven by getting treasure and traversing all these levels and trying to find secrets, and all along I'm being taught by the game what to avoid and how it'll affect me. I mean, that really does sound replayable. That's sort of the essence of replayability. But even that must get old, right? That must get stale, right? I know this did.
The final 2 areas of the game are rather difficult, and the final boss is incredibly tough to take down. There's also another final boss on top of that final boss. Yeah, we're getting bayoneted with this shit. However, to make matters even more ridiculous, the game has quite a few secret areas and other secret bits to find. In fact, there's one secret so huge, it arcs over the entire game. Let's just say it requires finding a thing to open a thing, to find another thing, to buy a thing, to use that thing, to find another thing, which when combined with another thing, opens a thing that lets you go to a certain place with a lot of stuff. And that's not even the end of it. Each playthrough is rife with danger, and every level further your heart rate goes up a few BPMs. By the time you get to the final boss, your chest will be playing dubstep on your ribcage, and provided your arteries don't explode, it'll be one hell of an exhilarating action platformer experience. Experience you'll learn to hate just as much as you'll love it. Kinda like a drunk guy who's hilarious but also throws things. Yeah, kinda like that. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. I know it took me a little bit longer than I expected it to. Kinda wanted to aim for like 2 weeks or something. But I am still getting a little bit used to this, trying to find ways to improve and get better. But hey, maybe a better video is gonna be worth it then, right? That's how it goes. So, but this is one I already made and it's done. And you watched it and it was about replayability, so you should replay it if you want, if you thought it was that funny. And if you did think it was that funny, if you could do me a gigantic favor, like seriously, no jokes, it really helps me out a lot. If you just hit the like button, if you liked it, or if you didn't. But I am only asking you to do it if you did like it. But both help me. Either way. Also tell your friends. And hey, you know, if you want to see some more stuff, you could always subscribe. Or just watch some of the other videos and the annotations there. So thanks a lot for watching, and check out the next episode thing, which is probably going to be on, I don't know, video games.